any stage is a baby in itself. They're usually sole proprietorships. Now, that's the most common way women in Pakistan are starting their businesses. It's their own, they register it, and although many are risk averse, because that is generally women patterns and women behaviors, a sole proprietorship gives them that initial control. So we all know that if you can do something with a partner in half the time, you should definitely consider that. So people are working together in many ways. You all know brands like Sana Safinas, who are quite iconic employers and parts of the economy in big ways. Somebody actually talked earlier, I think it was Cherie, you spoke about the fact that a lot of these women businesses are not even, or just token. Sabra had told you that people just put businesses in women's names. In Pakistan, something very different is happening. You actually have so many businesses or working women, and nobody knows. And the reason is, one, because they may not be looking at it, and the main reason is because a lot of businesses in Pakistan, male or female, are in the black. Okay, they're all non-tax paying businesses. Out of 180 million people, 2 million people in Pakistan pay taxes. Now, among the 100 partners we have at Ladies Fund, we have the Karachi Stock Exchange, the Securities and Exchange Commission. We're doing lessons and booths and trying to get women entrepreneurs from day one to legally register their company with incentives that we're going to nominate you for USAID. We just, have any of you heard of Harvard Business School and All World's Pakistan 25 and Pakistan 100 and now Arabia 500? Okay, fantastic. So Ladies Fund has become the nominating partner for that. And this year, after in the Pakistan 25, there was 0 Pakistani women represented. This year, not only do we have more Pakistani women than any other country in the Arabia 500, numerous Pakistani women have won and are going to Turkey for the Presidential Summit on Entrepreneurship through the nominations of Ladies Fund. So there's not only are there so many women, but if you provide the bridge, they're going to be winning prizes internationally and everywhere. And we're talking from all socioeconomic classes. A microfinancier woman can have a business that impacts many lives, or as Sherry was pointing out, many small businesses. But the SME sector, you have businesses poised to be international leaders. The fashion industry, we now have 3 fashion councils in Pakistan, 2 fashion weeks a year for each, and a thriving bridge. Karachi Fashion Week was 3 weeks ago. They had buyers from Australia, everywhere in the world. Then we had PFDC Fashion Week 2 weeks later in Karachi, and again buyers from, people from Huffington Post and people from London Guardian coming out to cover these events. So, there's huge areas, and fashion is one bridge between the women in the rural areas, because 90% of the stitch patterns of the entire South Asian region are in Pakistan. 90%. That means more than India even. The stitch patterns are there. So there's so much you can do with it if people work and take that into account. The average business has 5 to 35 employees. Gender balanced labor force. When women hire, they are gender blind. Then you have a cater to local markets, very true. Productive assets. Now this is just telling you about the size. 2 lakhs and invest up to 5 lakhs. When we're looking at our SME sector, for our angel investor fund, the average amount a woman wants is 1 million rupees. And with 1 million rupees, she can make magic happen. So even when you have general contests and business plans and entrepreneurial different platforms, usually the women are not winning those at the moment because they're looking at small businesses compared to the men. But if you give 1 million rupees to a woman, she can do so much with that. And one of the things that you must have read about in The Economist is that in the West or in the East, when there's a financial crisis, it's the women entrepreneurs who survive. They will be so resourceful, they will find any way, but they will not lose their baby. On the other hand, men will say, this is not worth my time, I'll declare bankruptcy or whatever and move on to the next business. Women aren't like that. So if you're an angel investor and you give money to a woman business, she will hell or high water, not let it drown. So now we'll go to the next slide, which is why the current models are not working. I know that Cherie showed some very interesting and exciting things, but this is sort of the reality of what's happening with microfinance. The limits are, first of all, there's a cap, and that people generally, to make an impact and beyond, and I'm an SME, so I'm not going to talk as much about my finance. 1 million is the amount where you can really start seeing women businesses have impact, and impact means influence and voice. There's also a lot of problems in the current banking finance. Even here you have venture capitalists. When you have an interesting, innovative idea, it's venture capitalists who come through. So I just came from the Commonwealth Business Forum, and the main thing that was talked about was the fact that the reason why the West has been a great driver has been innovation. Innovation comes generally from the West because of literacy and education. And you know, I went to the speakers afterwards and I kind of argued with one in particular. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Dr. Doom, Nouriel Roubini from New York Post. So he just blew my mind with his assessment of the current economic realities of today. But one of the things he said is, you know, the West is educated, so therefore the innovation comes from there. You all know the recent loss of Steve Jobs. His innovations have totally transformed so many lives. And so many other Americans have done so, and British and other people in the West. But how many of you have gone to a village in Pakistan and seen a little kid playing on the grounds of the village with no money, torn clothing, and inventing something, or innovative ways, or even the little games that they play? I would argue that in the East and countries like Pakistan, our capacities for innovation are unparalleled. Sometimes it results in us getting the most corrupt nation in the world and other things, because we can hack into things and break things. But that same brain power can be channeled in other ways. And I argue that Pakistan and other countries that are similar could be world innovation leaders if just given the platforms and the opportunities and ways to place the energy and mind in legal and streamlined channels. So that's where we want to also make our angel investor fund to be an innovation fund, in a sense too. And now innovation's coming under the Higher Education Commission, which is one of our partners.
Could we talk about that little child who is so innovative and so creative? If we can give that child an education, an opportunity to expand on his creativity, to enhance his ideas, and the educational skills needed and required to reach a certain level of success. Education is absolutely the key for women and for men. And the microfinancing and this stuff, and I agree, I appreciate all that goes on, but give the women scholarships to pursue their education to college and beyond. And the little child, if we can just nurture his talent through education, he would be better than Steve Jobs and maybe invent something awesome.
And what's your name?
Naseema.
Okay.
So money is one thing, but educational opportunity is absolutely the key. I'm sorry, I could not let that go.
Okay. So I think that we all agree with Naseem. When people talk about democracy in Pakistan, literacy is the key to democracy anywhere in the world. One of the things we've been doing at our foundation is we have our events. Our slogan is invest in yourself. So all our events, whether they're educational, entrepreneurship training, now we're starting incubators with IBA, ExecEd, HEC. The U.S. Consulate has approached us for some workshops, and what's amazing is that when we do things like that, you will find that not only will a little education be transformed a million times because of the internet. If you give someone an idea, you make a tiny statement, they will take it, they'll research on their own. Even our student advisory board members, all our foundation has 100 volunteers, and our events are organized by students. They're 18 to 21 years old, and although it's ladies' fun, we actually have 50% male students because they're so desperate for this educational training as well. You know, business schools don't even teach entrepreneurship business plans in their class, and they graduate people in entrepreneurship. So one of the things is we're teaching all these things already, and you know, like the head of our student advisory board, 18 years old, wears a hijab, is very modest, very conservative family, a Karachi University student, takes a bus 45 minutes to come volunteer with us and help the interns and all of that, and then goes back. There's nothing that's going to stop someone once they want to. And the funds we raise from our events, we even have students pay. Students pay $500 apiece to attend, but they attend. And when students, all the money goes to scholarships and fellowships at the grassroots level. And so there's a cycle of that, because every step of the things we do have to have meaning. The event has to have meaning. The people who come are not there just there for a free tea. They're there because they're investing in their education in the future, and they put that down and they show up, and then when they're there, they then have to deliver, you know? Then we have incubators, which we're building now, to try and help transition professional, middle class, urban women to professional entrepreneurs. And we also are going to do 20% microfinance women to SME sector, because the incubators have to be able to channel in multiple ways.
You definitely